This is KGW News at 11.
My parents have said that they wish that they could be here because everyone that's here tonight is so special to them.
People gathered in Washougal to support a longtime Vancouver educator. They're raising funds to help him with his recovery after he ended up in the ICU with brain damage. Thanks for joining us. I'm John Adams. Scott Monroe is in Nebraska working on his rehab, but people here at home wanted a way to help out. Art Edwards was there at tonight's fundraiser.
A packed house at the Orchard Hills Golf and Country Club in Washougal. People from the community gathered to show support for Clark County resident Scott Monroe.
We just want to remind Scott that we haven't forgotten and we're here to support and do whatever we can for both him, Katrina, and their daughter.
Monroe is the director of elementary education for the Evergreen School District. He went in for shoulder surgery in the Vancouver area in September. He ended up in the ICU for a month with brain damage. Oxygen levels dropped for 4 minutes unchecked.
Good job, Scott.
Monroe is relearning basic things in a rehabilitation center in Omaha, Nebraska. We talked with him in April about his recovery.
Well, it's going pretty well considering where I started after the injury, which, I was barely conscious for about 2 months.
Insurance has stopped paying for the level of care he needs, so the community is stepping up.
My whole family is so grateful just for all of the support that we've gotten from everyone in our community.
The event included both a silent and live auction. While he couldn't be here, he did FaceTime his daughter, and she let him see the gathering in his support. People here say they will do anything they can to help a man they love and respect. In addition to the fundraiser, a GoFundMe has been set up to help Scott and his family, all needed to pay for the care that is critical to his recovery.
My family is very grateful for all of this, and this event has changed our lives. It's been very unexpected, and no one can prepare for something like this to happen, but our community has just been incredible with supporting us.
Art Edwards, KGW News.
Turning now to weather, the first weekend of May has felt more like winter. Some heavy rain showers for the coast and the valley, and the Cascades even seeing nearly a foot of snow in just the last few hours. Let's bring in meteorologist Joe Ranieri. Joe, is this cold and wet pattern going to stay for a while?
It certainly is. And over the last few days, believe it or not, places up near Timberline Lodge have seen close to 4 or 5 feet of snow. And we're going to add to it over the next day and a half or so. Here's a live look from Timberline Lodge where you've seen it's actually about 5 inches of snow in just the last couple of hours. Majority of that has been fallen late this afternoon, early part of the evening. Temperature of 27 degrees. As we look at the temperature at a few other locations up on the higher elevations, mid to the upper 20s is what you're seeing outside Timberline Lodge right now. A little bit at the base there, Government Camp, you're seeing temperatures in the low 30s, but you're still going to be seeing snow-covered roads overnight and into a good portion of tomorrow. Winter weather advisory is in place throughout the Oregon Cascades until tomorrow. That orange color you see is a wind advisory along parts of I-84. So this is this upper level low that's going to continue to bring really widespread showers heading into tonight and into tomorrow. I should say your overnight hours. Meanwhile, those snow showers are going to continue heading into tomorrow as well. Again, that advisory will expire tomorrow evening. But again, we're going to be looking at some cool and wet conditions in the next couple of days. But I have temperatures that are going to be soaring over the next 6 to 7 days. I'll have details on that coming up in a few minutes.
All right, Joe, we'll see you later in the show. An early morning stabbing in Salem leads to an hours-long standoff. It ended with one person in the hospital and another in custody. It happened just before 1 a.m. in the area of Phipps Lane Northeast and Beverly Avenue. Marion County deputies arrived to find the victim in stable condition, then turned their focus to the suspect who was in a home. The SWAT team was called, and negotiators spent 4 hours talking with the suspect. Just before 5, 21-year-old Diego Guajardo surrendered peacefully.
We got a lot of calls and questions about whether or not we were going to have market this weekend, and everyone seems just very grateful.
A Saturday staple at Portland State University forced to adjust following a chaotic weekend on campus. The Portland Farmers Market at PSU went on as scheduled today, but with a modified layout. The They moved the market 1 block from where it usually is, away from the campus library. This comes after a group of protesters occupied the building for several days and caused extensive damage. The executive director of the farmers market says now is as good of a time as ever to visit and support local vendors who rely on this event.
During times when everyone's having to adapt and do something a little bit different, it's a really good time to come out and show your support.
She says they hope to return to their regular space next week. The PSU library is still evaluating things following the protest and occupation. Students return to class on Friday, but the library will stay closed for at least the next few months while crews clean and make necessary repairs. Police cleared the building twice on Thursday and arrested a total of 30 people. Students we spoke to yesterday say they support the protest, but not the vandalism.
It felt honestly counterintuitive to the movement as a whole.
I mean, I think protests are positive. I think it's something that should happen. The sad thing is I don't think the destruction is necessary.
It was definitely troublesome, to say the least.
Here's a closer look at that destruction. Portland State President Ann Cudd expressed her disappointment Friday and called the library as it stands, quote, unusable. The library team is working to get remote services back up and running and set up alternative study spaces. President Cudd also says she expects protests to continue. She says she supports that as long as protesters do not harass students or trespass and cause damage. In the Middle East, a senior Biden administration official says a deal with Hamas for a temporary ceasefire and hostage release is likely not happening today, but is close. A delegation from Hamas is in Cairo, and Egyptian media is reporting noticeable progress in ceasefire talks. An Israeli official says under no circumstances will Israel agree to an end of the war as part of a deal to release hostages. It's the latest effort to increase the mobility of people who otherwise may not be able to afford it. Earlier today at Milwaukee City Hall, nonprofit The Street Trust held a ribbon cutting for its Ride to Own e-bike pilot program. They gave away a total of 75 e-bikes completely free of charge. Priority went to Black, Indigenous, and other people of color, as well as those who qualify for TriMet's low-income program. Not only did they get free bikes, they also got hooked up with free gear and training on how to use the bikes, especially in tandem with other transportation options.
We've got some participants who hop on in park rows, go to the transit center, ride max across the region, and then are on their way almost to the coast. So that's the range that these folks have when they have these e-bikes in their households.
This is my first time ever on an electric bike, and honestly, I'm not great with power tools or anything like that. But so far, my first test was so easy. I think I can do it.
The Street Trust hopes that with the success of this pilot, they can expand the program to other cities. A first-of-its-kind event happened today at Pacific University. The school's Indigenous Student Alliance gathered people of various cultures and heritages to hold their first annual Reconciliation Powwow. The free public event featured music and dance, exhibitions by local tribes, plus hosted local food and art vendors. One of the group's co-founders says this event was among their first goals when they were first established in 2022.
We didn't know when that would happen or if it ever would. But this year the stars have just been aligning, and now that we have our footing, we've been able to crack down and get it all done and really just become closer and create our community here on campus.
The group says they have more projects coming in the future that they plan to invite the community to attend. The Morrison Bridge is lighting up red tonight. It's part of the National Light the Night campaign to honor the firefighters who died while serving their communities. It's not just the bridge. Moda Center and the Convention Center spires are also shining red this evening. There's a live look.